Welcome to South Florida, the bottom of the clip of the gunshine state. Ha, what them boys still boring in that way. Big plate, get it for the 18 if you straight. Get cake and stop hating, it's the motto of the state. Ha, a lot of fakes, but it's still real around here. That foreign talk, that can get you.
Alright, so here we go, man. We out here. Another day, another dollar. And another different start. Yesterday they started off practice with fundamentals, stripping the ball from each other as a team. Now we usually start off on the right field, everything get going. Now we're on the left field. Sound kind of petty, huh? I don't know. I'm just trying to give you guys a visual. You're not here with me, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you guys a visual outlook of what we see, man. Another day at Kane practice, man. We got Mr. Michael Redding right here standing in front of me. Tyler Van Dyke mentioned Redding's name the other day, and I think Redding maybe we were able to make some plays. Remember, Redding was one of the first freshmen to step out and make some plays and get some things done. But then injuries kind of set him back. Never really came into his own. But he's been here, he's still here, and he's not going anywhere and everything. I think has to be like a fifth-year senior, right? Let's see what Redding is, man. He's out of IMG. Has high hope for Redding coming out of IMG, man. His body had the build of a college kid in high school. Let's see. Yeah, he had the build of a college kid in high school. Man, we're looking forward to Redding eventually breaking out. Or somebody in this wide receiver room stepping up and getting it done. I think the joker in the room is Rashad Smith. I think Rashad Smith showed us flashes last year, man. And I'm not going to say a better offensive coordinator. With a different offensive coordinator, different philosophy, we get a chance to get Rashad Smith some new touches. So listen, man, it's a beautiful day out here, Kane. The wind is blowing, man. It hasn't been scorching hot since we've been out here. Not yet. It hasn't been scorching hot since we've been out here. One of the main things, maybe as the day go on, the sun come up, and one of the things the players agreed to, it was hot while they were out here. But as we've been out here in the media, we get out here first thing, as soon as they get out here. It hasn't been scorching hot. The weather's windy, not a lot of sun. Just a day of football. It's a little different than it was in the spring. In the spring, it looked like the Goombay out here. I mean, we had players out here from everywhere. The old guys were coming back. Edwin James, Warren Sapp, they were all out here. A lot of families were out here. Now you see a couple families here sparingly. Not a lot of single owners, not a lot of outside people here in fall camp. I know Mario Cristobal for sure is big on privacy and leaks and information get out and all those things. That's why we in the media, man. We walking on eggshells. We're not sure. We're not sure how Mr. Cristobal is going to handle media and getting down to it. Number 16, Isaiah Horton, out of Tennessee. Met Isaiah Horton dad, cool guy. Actually has a sister lived down here in Miami somewhere, man. Sister moved from Tennessee down to Miami, man, to do business. But Isaiah Horton, I watched Isaiah Horton yesterday run routes and focused on him a little bit. Isaiah Horton has more explosiveness than I thought he did. I thought he was more of a bigger kid, kind of possession guy. But watching him run routes, man, he runs routes with power, man, has good hands. Isaiah Horton looked pretty good, damn good out here, man. But that's the physical side of it. That's something he's done his whole life. I mean, but the mental side of college football and getting acclimated to college football is where a lot of these players run into a wall. Not saying that about Isaiah, but that's the part these players usually have to get acclimated to and figure out. that 2-3, man. Not Michael Jordan, man, but Jaleel Skinner out of South Carolina. Jaleel Skinner was in South Carolina playing against the House of the Blind, but left South Carolina, moved on to IMG. And IMG, one season at IMG. It seemed like Jaleel Skinner picked up a lot of skills at IMG, mainly when he speaks. Very confident kid, aware of himself. Kind of brings up like Ja'Cory Brown. When I talk about Ja'Cory Brown and how Ja'Cory Brown understands who he is and where he is, and what he has in front of him to achieve. Jaleel Skinner, very professional tone, very mature kid when you hear him speak. This spring, him and Khalil had to take the helm because of the tight ends being injured. Mallory was down, Arroyo was down, and both stepped up. You know what I'm saying? They both stepped up and showed that, hey, listen, man, they're viable, maybe 2s and 3s right now, but if asked to come in and play, they can come in and get it done. Very interesting, man. Jaleel Skinner, man, was headed to Alabama, and then at the end flipped over and came back to Miami. Interesting to get one of the top tight ends in the nation coming out if he wasn't number 1. Shout out to Jaleel Skinner and his family. So, all right, man, here we go, man. This is the morning huddle. This happens every morning. You know what I'm saying? This time it's just on the left field. We're going to get into some Texas A&M talk, man. One of the bigger games we got. And I'm going to give you my take on the Texas A&M game and how do I see the Aggies versus the Canes. So listen, man, y'all stay locked in with this IOD Squad, man. Invest or die. Caneville FOOTBALLVILLE. Yeah. So I started. So you just going to, so you still recording me, huh? All right, from the hood, man, from the crib, Coach Kevin Smith came over here from Ole Miss. And shortly after Coach Kevin Smith came, or before, was Henry Parrish. His running back at Ole Miss had 500 yards as a sophomore. Coach Kevin Smith was once at FAU with Lane Kiffin. It's over here with his back. Let me know in the comment section below. I wanted to know is there any scenario you can remember where there was a coach that left with his player, went to a new school, and if there is, how did it turn out? Did it turn out good? Did it turn out bad? Now I'm talking about a coach that left from one school, went to another school, a player eventually came over and he had to coach him again. Let me know in the comment section below, man. I was trying to think of some scenarios, couldn't think of any. So I know you guys are smarter than us, man. Let us know in the comment section below. A coach that left his program, came to a new one, a player followed, and he had to coach him. How did it end? All right, listen. Third game of the season, the University of Miami trots into the SEC and faces Texas A&M. And for some reason, the feeling is like, woo, they're going to play big bad Texas A&M. Can the Canes win this game? But when you start pulling the layers off, when you start pulling off the layers and really looking at the game, what you have is a Canes team that hasn't stepped up in the big game in a long, long time, not a rivalry game. Last time I can remember was 2017, Notre Dame, when they blew the doors off Notre Dame. But other than that, anytime that they have been faced with a big game, they failed, and like double-digit failed. You have a Texas A&M team that's been in the spotlight here recently. People with the coach Jimbo Fisher won a national championship recently, who people feel may be a top-tier team in the SEC. I mean, but the question is, are they really? 8-4 last year, the Texas A&M Aggies went, and they brought in the highest-rated recruiting class ever, 8 5-stars. Our guy from the crib, Shamar Stewart, was part of that. That's where a lot of the That's where a lot of the Texas A&M hype is coming from. Then you add Alabama going into College Station and getting beat last year, Jimbo taking down Nick Saban on national television. Everybody saw that. But like I said, Texas A&M went on to be 8-4. At this point, they have a three-horse quarterback race. One is a 5-star freshman, Connor Wegman. Then they have Max Johnson, who came over, I think, a transfer. And then you have Haynes King, who was there last year, took some snaps, and I think he eventually was injured. They're trying to choose who their quarterback is. At the same time, the University of Miami knows who their quarterback is. Also, a lot of those 5 stars that came in, they're gonna ask them to play, mainly on the D-line, where you have Nolan, Shamar Stewart. These guys are going to have to be a part of the rotation in Game 3 because the Aggies are trying to figure out their D-line situation. The University of Miami, when it comes to D-line, doesn't have the 5 stars behind, but has a transfer Darrell Jackson, a transfer in from Maryland, and a Hakeem Mesidor, the transfer in from West Virginia, to try to fill those holes when it comes to D-line. But Miami's strength on this team will be Tyler Van Dyke. Let's get this straight. And if Texas A&M can't really get a pass rush on Tyler Van Dyke, Miami has a chance to go in there and steal that game. If and only if Mario Cristobal and staff has changed the mental aspect, brought the brotherhood together, and get these kids fired up to play in a big game. That game is close to halftime. Miami can walk away with that game. Our first look at the great this year, Ed Reed is at practice. This is my first time seeing him here from the time that they let us come in and view practice. I haven't seen him here all year. But the legend, man, Hall of Fame Ed Reed is here at practice. Back in the mix with the DBs. Assistant Coach Adai and Coach DVD. If you haven't caught on Twitter, man, when Avante Williams, asks Avante Williams about Ed Reed being a mentor, and he just goes in on how words can't even explain. Words can't even explain what it means to have Ed Reed as a mentor. You should check that out. It's on the Caneville Twitter. Nice little video of Avante Williams explaining to you how having a Hall of Famer in the room, somebody you can trust, somebody you know have done it and got it done, helps him out tremendously. We're going to reward good behavior. Hats off to Jalen Harris. We're going to try to get Jalen Harris to be a regular on what we're doing. Hats off to Jalen Harris and Chris Graves. I know this may sound small, but we watched Jalen Harris and Chris Graves 45 minutes after practice. Practice drills, go at each other one-on-one, both DBs, both freshmen, getting that extra work in. And I'm not gonna say the last time I've seen it, but it jogs my memory when Minnesota wide receiver out of Buffalo that was at Miami, when he got here, he would always stay after practice, catch extra balls, 35 minutes, 45 minutes, hour after practice. His name is losing me right now. I don't know why I can never remember. What's his name? Yeah, neither one of us can figure his name. And let us know in the comment section below. I know all y'all gonna correct us and tell us his name. But
KJ Osborne.
KJ Osborne. It reminded me of watching KJ Osborne put that extra work in. Now, bro, you got to think about what we're talking about. We're talking about extra work after being out here 2 hours, 2.5 hours in this hot Miami sun. You have to be exhausted after. But that some players are built like that, and sometimes it's genetics. You just have an extra motor. You can play all day long. And sometimes it's just will. It's just will to want to be better, to want to stand out, to want to show coach you serious. Well, man, shout out to Chris Graves out of Fort Myers and Jalen Harrell out of ATL for putting that extra work in, man. Trying to be better at their craft. One thing I would like to talk about is players and their commitments. The hat trick game. Yeah, the hat trick game at this point has to be about over. We here at FOOTBALLVILLE want to provide a service for players that want to commit. We'll come out, we'll shoot a live, we'll record it, whatever we got to do to make it a big deal, because we believe that you committing is a huge deal for a lot of reasons. We talk about name, image, and likeness, right? Name, image, and likeness. Your brand, who you are. That commitment date, I'll go out on the limb and say, unless you did something viral in your life, it's the biggest day where traffic will come to your page, your Instagram, your social media, YouTube, to find out who you are. That's a huge day. Sounded like Mike Irvin. And we believe that day should be an event. We believe it should be drawn out for you. We believe it should be your parents should talk, your coaches should talk. Maybe your favorite niece, you should give her a gift, or maybe even a party. We just feel that it should be an event, and we want to provide that for players that's trying to commit. If you got a chance to see Coach Hayes, and this is something me and Coach Hayes been talking about for months and months and months and months and months and months. He had a chance to go to Alabama, and then he also did one live on live stream. Go check that out. We want to provide that service to players that want to commit. We think the commitment thing should be something bigger. We have a couple secrets when it comes to social media on how you can make it bigger. We just want to get down with you, man. So if you know anybody that want to commit, know anybody that's ready to commit or setting the commitment days, man, start atting us in those things at FOOTBALLVILLE so we can get over there and see if we can come up with a way to make your commitment a huge deal, something your family can look back on and remember, because maybe they all were a part of it. So just at FOOTBALLVILLE on Twitter or on Instagram. Here's the thing. When we talk about stuff like this, it's about the kids. We don't matter where you're committing to. A kid getting a chance to go play college football is a kid getting a chance to play college football. So it doesn't matter where you're committing to. And if we only did Hurricane kids, then every time the kid sat down, you would know where he was going. So if you know somebody set the commitment day at FOOTBALLVILLE, let us know, man. We are trying to get that service going for the kids anywhere across the nation, if it makes sense to get there. SMU out of Texas, led by head coach Rhett Lashley, Miami's former offensive coordinator, came out and said they will be giving each player $32,000 a year in NIL. However that's set up, you know what I'm saying, however that makes sense, they get a collective together, and however they set a set price of that behind the scenes. I can only imagine that it's going through the players that have as a team or individually do certain things, and the money goes to a pot of investors or pot of businesses, and they utilize whatever the branding or whatever the marketing is that they come up with as a collective, because it's not pay for play. So it has to still be in the form of an NIL when they do it this way. But I say this to say that teams in college football are going to start to figure out NIL and what they're doing with NIL. Just because everybody wasn't out in front and had a guy like Reeves who was talking about NIL and was blazing the trail like we were, don't mean that they're not coming and figuring this thing out. That's SMU. And I think they recently got a kid that was committed to Florida State, the quarterback out of West Palm, that transferred to St. Thomas and to actually flip over to SMU. But that's SMU. You feel me? Just look as the season go and watch these teams get their NIL game and clean it and get their NIL game cleaned up and they understand what they're doing and how they're going to attack recruiting with the NIL. The thing is about to be really competitive, and you're going to have to be able to sell these kids on possible NIL deals, facilities, a reason, the city. It's going to be a very, very, very competitive recruiting. It's going to be a very, very recruiting scene when it comes to NIL, man. We're going to start educating and talking about a little bit more of that stuff on these Caneville Experience videos, man. As you see these boys huddle up, hope we can get some action today. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. I'm D.